So a little tribute here that I am so excited this year about what we're about to do for the next couple of days, and really not since these and since things like Living Books I think we had so much potential for interactivity in new ways, for intergenerational things, and for varied screens, as David would say. So here's the technology part of me, and here's what I think is going to start to really matter this year. 3D, the industry would like it to matter more than it does right now, but it will get there, and it's going to beg a lot of questions. Kinetic movement, gesturing, voice, any input other than the old mouse and keyboard is huge. Motion sensors, in particular for an older population, are giving them, it's as phenomenal as a chance to live at home and age in place with technology that can sense when they've fallen, when their blood pressure is high, without ever leaving the house, and still keep them in touch. So, and for kids, we're going to see the same kinds of things with motion, location-based, and mobile. I think you'll see a lot of examples today, but it will beg the question, if you've been on Foursquare, how many people do you want to know where you are every minute, and how many people really care where you are every minute, and what does it mean to be a parent of a child whose location is intrinsic to their play? Augmented reality, and I'll show you where I think we're at now in a second, and then, of course, and we always forget to say this, it's bandwidth. When this was the medium and the bandwidth was there, we just really were limited in what we could do, and because of the processing power and because of the graphics chips and the bandwidth, we're able to do just these extraordinary things for extraordinary prices. So in my triumphs list, 3D, I don't think there are triumphs. I'll get to that on the TrainWreck part. I think Microsoft really has done an incredible job of moving the bar on interactivity by taking the Kinect, and I know that there are going to be problems with it, but to be able to be totally free, not hold anything in your hands and interact with the screen, to be able to have anybody from ages 2 to 92 know instinctively what to do, mostly instinctively, it is just terrific. So Nintendo, on the other hand, has Microsoft jumped the bar, and Nintendo may have just jumped the shark. Well, I don't know how many of you have seen the 3DS. It kind of looks like, well, those hologram postcards I have from the fashion show, it looks like it looks like one of those postcards that you hold up. I think without the glasses, and unless it's a very small screen size, 3D looks pretty terrible. And actually, playing the new Nintendo game, I asked that they shut the 3D off because I really couldn't tell one flower from another while I was playing. So, sensors and things, Renee's going to show you some games, but things like Spy Gear. Zamzy is sort of like the Nick Fit. You wear it, it's from Hope Labs. You wear it as a pedometer, you come home, it senses what you've done all day, plug it into your computer, and you get rewards of your choosing, whether it's from Amazon or movie trailers. And we're going to talk a lot about, I think, incentives to play and using the PC, using the screen to change behavior, and how we feel about that. And I just want to show you, we talk about augmented reality, but I thought I'd give us a little, let's see if this will work. Warren, do we have wireless?
No.
Okay. So, there's a, next, not available yet. I should have brought my card. But anyhow, there's a thing called the Duke Crew. How many have seen Duke Crew? It's, there we go. It's, you should check it out. It's a website. You're in the picture, so are all the other characters, and you're part of this game action, and a lot like Sony iPad, where you are in the game, but this is delivered on the web, and if you all you need is your webcam, and you're in the game, playing with the characters, and I think it's a beginnings of some really good augmented reality that feels really natural. You're in a little circle bouncing around with other little circles, and it makes perfect sense. I think you're going to see some where you have no business in the game. And the thing that, to me, is most exciting, one of the things is this notion of cradle to grave, that there is, technology has a meaningful place in your life at a certain time, but it also crosses these time zones. So, Noodle's not here this year, right? Noodle, isn't it Noodle? The guy with, oh, he was at CES. Anyhow, he's got, last year it was just you could surf the web in a gated environment, but now he has a mobile phone application, and he has a grandmother recording. He has an application where you can read books and ship a picture and your voice to kids. Nokia is also working on a storybook where grandma can read over the phone, and this is, believe it or not, a product that just came out for the aging population, and it's really just Skype. I mean, and I didn't know it until I heard the sound. I heard that whoosh, and it's Skype, but it's Skype made for like a normal person who just wants to talk to their grandchild. So it's all masked under user interface that's age appropriate, and I think we're going to see a lot more things like that.
It's like zoodles, not noodles. Zoodle?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, right, right. And where's that wine? So, TrainWrecks, and I don't know how to say this. I'm just going to say it. Who would have ever thought that VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price would have competition from Apple? Like, was that in anybody's game plan? Like, kids' toys, grown-ups' toys, and never the twain shall meet. And I just find it sad on one hand, kind of bittersweet and nostalgia, and I don't know what to do. There's plenty of good reasons to buy a kid's toy. They're inexpensive, they're durable, they have a lot of functionality, but when you start to add up the 70 bucks you're going to spend on the toy, and $20 a cartridge, and limited age, then you say, oh, maybe I'll just go get it, something that we can pass around and share. And this is about to change your world. And when my world was printed publishing, so when it changed, I decided, you had to work with them, not against them, the frenemy thing. And I think so it's not a train wreck yet, but...
freeze that point, because that's critical. I think that right there, this afternoon you're going to meet 6 or 7 kids. And one of the things we do is we pull all the gadgets out, we put it on the table, and we let them shoot a laser at which one they want to play with. And we did this at AppCamp, and the iPad, I mean, that's where they're going. They go for control, they go for power, and so on. And it isn't designed for, it's because ease of use there's no boundaries. And he was just showing me an article in today's USA Today, another iPad toddler, or iPod Touch toddler thing.
Oh, right, I was quoted.
It's called iPods.
Right.
Our speaker here is in that.
Right, because you were out of town.
Oh, okay. Well, I try to stay out of that paper, Robin. And so, so anyway, this is the critics panel. We can talk about media, right? So
Yeah.
This is it.
I mean, this
But anyway, very powerful point, and you guys are so far, it's fabulous what David said. It's so critical. Keep going on. So.
Okay. Has anybody seen The Hub, the new Hasbro Discovery? I would have gone live, but I kind of like the metaphor. I mean, it's just a channel of stuff. All the different characters are across the top, and then it asks you, do you want to play a game? Do you want to watch a video? It feels very fluid, contrasted to something like a PBS Kids that's sort of more, do you want to be Dora? Do you want to do this? And it just feels like a very natural choice. Do I want to interact with it? Do I want to sit back and watch it? And so I think you're going to see a lot of these siloed entertainment gates for kids, Cartoon Network, and you're going to see media being the choice more than, you know, I want to watch a character. And so take a look. If you haven't looked at the hub, take a good look at it because it's adorable. 3D. So first let me talk about 3D as for young kids, because I've started to read the literature, and you know, young kids' eyes often have not converged properly, or you know, there's strabismus, there's amblyopia, there's all sorts of convergence problems in eyes that aren't often detected. And if you take your children to see Avatar and they cannot see 3D, it's likely that they have a convergence problem. So in some ways, 3D is an eye diagnostic for disease. Although most people don't know if they can see 3D. I've actually sat next to people at trade shows who haven't turned their glasses on, and they're going, and it's like the emperor's new clothes, and I'm like, what am I supposed to be seeing? And so at CES this year, you will just walk through miles of aisles of 3D, and if you're doing it without your glasses on, it's really nauseating because everything just seems out of focus, but you have to get around. So the other problem we're going to have is that, you know, the 3D glasses are made, the active ones, there's checkerboard ones and there's shutter ones, and they don't necessarily work with each other. So if you invite Jimmy over to watch TV with you, and Jimmy has a Panasonic at home and you've got a Sony, it's over. Like, can't watch together. And these glasses are $150 a piece, so your parents aren't likely to keep spares around for all your friends. So that's going to be a problem. But I also want to talk about the potential of the ability to make your own 3D. That's a Fujifilm camera. Anybody notice anything different about it?
2 lenses.
That's right. It's got 2 lenses, and that makes a 3D image. And 3D storytelling is also going to be incredibly different because you've got to, in 2D film, there was a focal point. You put the camera, I'm going to do a close-up now, I'm going to come in here, this is the object I want in front. In 3D, everything's like a cardboard cutout on a background. And we're going to have to learn how to tell 3D stories very differently. But that Fujifilm took this picture of me wearing these ridiculous glasses and talking to the Dell people about how much I hated 3D. But to create it and to start thinking about it, it is not too early. And I have seen Texas Instruments actually is doing a lot in 3D projector education. And when you can walk through a molecule or the body or the ear in 3D, it's unforgettable. So 3D. And then I'm gonna, Renee is gonna talk about this more, but I think you're gonna start to see these things, thankfully, it's about die a quiet death, the watch me toys, and even the robots, you know, and the Wowies, and they've all run into trouble. I think you'll see a new breed of robot, but the watch me toy, and I wish we had, we'll do it, we'll turn them on later. And then the thing to remember here is that, you know, kids have information overload just like we do, and we've started to make serious choices about what we'll do in real time, what will time shift, how many friends we'll have, and our kids are going to be doing the same thing, and they're going to look for quality, and they're going to invest their little time. You know, it's amazing to me that the biggest market that you guys all develop for has the least time of anybody, because they're at school and they're at after school and they need some sleep. And you're going to have, I think that's why casual games have become so appealing. You don't have to make this huge time commitment to games, and that they are really busy, so it's got to be good. Immediately grab them or it goes away. And I think that's me. So thanks, and continue.